Hello, and welcome to another RPD video. In this video, we'll go over how to design and draw a Class II Mandibular RPD. Before we start, it's important to have a plan. Since this is a Class II, you'll notice we'll have a fulcrum line going between the last two abutments, meaning we will need indirect retainers, which is usually perpendicular to the fulcrum line about here. We'll also need stress braking clasps ahead of the fulcrum line. For this tooth, that means either a cast circumferential clasp with a mesial rest or an I-bar with a mesial rest called RPA and RPI respectively, or a modified T-clasp with a mesial rest. Since this tooth is completely ahead of the fulcrum line, the wrought wire clasp is the only possible clasp. And this tooth is behind the fulcrum line, so it could receive either a cast circumferential clasp or a ring clasp. When evaluating the cast, we notice that there isn't any excessive soft tissue undercuts or deficient vestibular depth. So a bar clasp, probably a modified T because of the angulation of the tooth, is what we're going to do for this tooth here. So we're going to be looking for a 0.01 inch undercut on the distal buccal surface. For this tooth, we'll be looking for a 0.02 inch undercut, probably on the mesiobuccal surface. And for this tooth right here, we'll probably try to look for a cast circumferential clasp, which is a 0.01 inch undercut on the distal lingual. If you're using an intraoral scanner for your diagnostic appointment, you could use the free online AI Dental Surveyor and Designer, which would allow you to virtually survey and design your cast. We will leave a link in the description for the software and a video demo. However, if you're doing this the analog way, then follow along this video to learn how to survey using the NAE Surveyor and draw your design on the cast and on paper. We will start by securing the cast onto the table. We also want to make sure that the occlusal plane of the cast is fairly level with the horizon. The first step of surveying is to analyze the cast. This is done using the analyzing rod, which looks like this. We'll go ahead and put that into the mandrel. The goal of analyzing the cast is to identify a path of draw that would require the least amount of adjustment on the guide plane areas. The ideal path of draw would require even adjustments on all abutments, rather than no adjustments on some abutments at the expense of the others. As we get the analyzing rod in contact with a surface to be adjusted, a space might appear gingival to the contact point. This means that the angle of the surface to be adjusted does not match the angle chosen for the path of draw, and this would require some adjustment onto that abutment. To minimize this adjustment, we might need to tilt the table in order to change that path of draw so that that surface would better align with the chosen path of draw and minimize the amount of adjustments needed. Once we are satisfied with the path of draw, it's time to switch out the analyzing rod for the 0.01 inch undercut gauge. We will now attempt to find those undercuts that we decided we needed in our initial plan. In order to identify the location of an undercut, the undercut gauge needs to contact the tooth at the shank and the disc. The undercut is located at the point of contact of the disc with the tooth surface. To mark that undercut, the cast is pushed away slightly and a pencil mark is made at the contact point of the undercut gauge, marking the undercut location. This process is repeated for all other abutments. For the tooth requiring a wrought wire, we'll be using the 0.02 undercut gauge to find the undercut we need. Due to the angulation of the tooth, we are unable to find the undercut we need, so we're going to go ahead and mark that area in red pencil for modification. We'll leave a link in the description for the types of modifications possible. Now that we're done identifying all the different undercuts, it's time to draw the survey line. This is done using the lead and the metal sleeve. They're both detached together and then attached to the mandrel. To correctly draw the survey line, we're going to ensure that only the side of the lead contacts the tooth and not the tip. The side of the lead is rubbed against the highest contour of each tooth, and that leaves a line called the survey line. Anything under that line represents a degree of undercut. Notice how I'm using both my hands to undergo this procedure. The The left hand is gripping the base of the table and is used to move the cast around, and the right hand is moving the mandrel up and down and around to ensure that only the side of the lead contacts the tooth. With this, the surveying is completed, but in order to save the position of the cast, we need to tripod it. This is done using a .03 undercut gauge. The .03 undercut gauge is attached to the mandrel, and the mandrel is lowered so that it would allow that undercut gauge to touch the cast at 3 different areas without having to move the mandrel up and down. A red pencil is then used to mark each area of contact with the undercut gauge on the 3 different points on the cast. And red circles are added for easier visualization. Now we're going to go ahead and draw our design on paper. I use the cast to identify which teeth are missing and mark them with a blue line going through the center of the missing teeth. I'll now use the red side of the pencil to draw all the different rest seats on all the teeth. Next, we'll switch over to the blue side of the pencil and we'll outline those rest seats with the rests themselves. Now we'll start drawing some clasps and some minor connectors, starting with the cast circumferential clasp here and extending the minor connector like that. Then drawing the reciprocal portion of the wrought wire clasp and extending its minor connector here. We'll draw the minor connector for the indirect retainer, as well as the minor connectors for the mesial rest and guide plate of the modified T clasp. To finish the major connector outline, we're going to go ahead and connect the different minor connectors to each other. It's important to remember that the last guide plate ends up being the finish line, like that. Go ahead and draw the modified T-clasp, skipping 1 tooth behind the abutment, and then we'll transition into drawing the wrought wire clasp as a solid blue line that goes back and solders onto the lattice. Go ahead and add a little circle denoting the need for modification here, and then we're going to go ahead and finish the lattice, making sure to end it with a little space there between the edge of the finish line and the lattice, and then I'll draw the little openings that will highlight the different struts of the lattice. Won't forget that tissue stop, and then we'll draw the same thing on the other side, a little square. Now that that's done, we'll transition to our brown pencil and we'll draw the denture base, starting from the edge of the finish line, making sure it's flush, then making our way around, then into the guide plate here. And on the other side, just like a class 3, from the guide plate to the other guide plate. We're almost done with the drawing. The only thing left is to write up some information about each clasp next to its drawing, including the type of major connector, the rests, guide planes, as well as clasps. With that, we can now transition to drawing the same design, but on the cast. We will start by drawing our rest seats in red. The next thing to do is to draw the areas of the guide planes. Red denotes areas included in the mouth preparation. That includes areas like guide planes and undercuts that are going to be added or adjusted on the patient's mouth. Next, we're going to start drawing the framework in blue. We'll go ahead and follow the same steps we did on the paper drawing, starting with outlining the cingulum rests and going down with the minor connector, then this occlusal rest and starting the reciprocal arm, making sure to cover the guide plate on this side here and start the finish line there, coming down with a little minor connector, and we'll start the cast circumferential clasp there, making sure that the retentive clasp has only the tip under the survey line. The rest of the body stays occlusal to the survey line. And then the reciprocal arm on the other side, however, stays occlusal to the survey line for the entirety of its existence. Now we're going to go to the other side and cover up that guide plate and start the finish line going straight down with a little minor connector. On the other side, here is the mesial rest of the modified T, coming down with a slim minor connector here, and then we'll cover this guide plate on the other side. Again, remember that last one is going to be the actual start of the finish line, so we're going to take that down a little further like that. Now that all these minor connectors are drawn, it's time to draw our major connector. So we'll start by connecting the 2 edges of this minor connectors here, And that kind of gets us started, and we'll connect these two as well. Now we need to draw the lingual bar. So we need to measure this, make sure we have enough space. The bar itself needs to be 5 millimeters thick, and we need about 3 millimeters between the edge of the bar and the free gingival margin. Make sure to measure that in the patient's mouth. This is supposed to be the active floor of the mouth, not just on the cast. But once you've done measuring, go ahead and draw your bar. And now that we're done with the major connector, it's time to finish up the clasps. So we're going to go ahead and draw that wrought wire here, which is drawn as a solid blue line. So we're going to go ahead and start that, the tip at the undercut, and then we're going to go ahead and go up into our guide plane and back down into the lattice area. Remember, this is an area where we're going to adjust and create that undercut. So we're just drawing it as a plan here. Now, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and transition into the modified T. The modified T starts at the undercut, goes up over the height of contour, and then transitions into more or less kind of like an I-bar clasp, which is going down like that, straight across the free gingival margin, and then back around, skipping one tooth, and then you have the origin right here. Now that we're done with the origin of the modified T, we're going to go ahead and start drawing the lattice. One side of the origin is going to connect to the guide plate here, and the other side is going to go along the crest up until we start to slope upwards with the retromolar pad, and then we're going to turn around and go back towards the finish line, leaving a little edge there free from the finish line just so that we can join it with the denture base later. On the other side, we're just going to go ahead and draw a line along the crest, and then we're going to go ahead and draw that opening representing the lattice. On the other side, we've got the openings as well. So now the only thing left is to grab our brown pencil and start drawing the denture base, going all the way back around the retromolar pad here, and then straight down into the depth of the vestibule and back around to meet up with the finish line and making it flush there. And the other side goes from a guide plate to the guide plate. So with that, our design is done. And this pretty much sums it up here for the Mandibular Class II RPD. We hope that video was helpful, and we'll see you guys on the next RPD video.